In the South, there's this whole thing, or at least people tell me there's this whole thing, about cooking with greens. You cook with greens, you make money. It's sort of every New Year's you have collards, and it's a very important thing. Nice tradition. So we're going to do a traditional Louisiana, New Orleans style gumbo with the requisite amount of greens and scallops, which are really great. As with many New Orleans style dishes, you start with a roux. Now what's a roux? A roux is nothing more than flour and fat cooked together until the flour loses all of its flouriness, becomes nutty and brown and something that really adds flavor instead of just thickening. You take whatever pot you're using and 2 tablespoons of butter, about a 1/4 cup of olive oil, and the heat can be medium-high. You want to get this going. When the butter melts, in goes 1/3 cup of flour. And then you see this nice bubbly mass we have going here. And then you cook over medium heat for, it's going to be a good 10 minutes until the mixture really thickens and browns. You have to be stirring the whole time and keep adjusting the heat to make sure this thing doesn't burn, because it will burn. But it didn't. And now we're adding some chopped onion, chopped green pepper, some chopped celery. Remember, I promised you green things. A bunch of garlic. And we're just going to let that cook until the vegetables soften a bit, 5 or 10 minutes. Translucent onions, the vegetables slightly softened. I'm going to add some oregano and some thyme. If you have fresh, so much the better. Cayenne to taste. Say 1/8 teaspoon for me. A couple of cups of tomatoes. What's really great is if you have the time to roast them ahead of time, but not necessary. Bay leaf. It's looking pretty good, huh? Let's do 2 cups of chicken stock. Or let's just do enough chicken stock to float the whole boat. How's that? So you can see the roux is already doing its work. This is much thicker than it would have been otherwise. And we're going to let this simmer for another 10 minutes or so, and then it'll be just about done. Okay, well, this is looking pretty gumbo-esque, bubbling away. So some nice big sea scallops, about 1 pound of them. And I'm cutting them into quarters because they're way too big. If you cook them 5 minutes, it's probably 4 minutes too long. So putting them in, I'm turning off the heat, I'm gonna wait 30 seconds and serve. And the scallops have a lot of liquid, they'll thin this out a bit too. Parsley, more green. Sort of authentic scallop gumbo. And I gotta tell you, I know that it might have seemed strange to some of you, but put the scallops in, turn off the heat, serve it, they're ready.